5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait.
Another day of going straight to voicemail. I pick up on the first vibrations. You've got me waiting like a damsel in a tower, and I can't say how much I hate that. I'm wrapped around your finger, your canary puppet on a string. I'm on the edge of disaster. You leave me hanging again. Why is it always hurry up and wait? Claustrophobic got me in your little cage, and I know that there's no letting me go. I am Sisyphus endlessly pushing against my fate. Hurry up and wait. Claustrophobic got me in your little cage, and I know that there's no letting me go. I am Sisyphus endlessly pushing against my fate.
Hey, hey, hey! So excited to get going.
Wait, hurry up.
We'll just wait 5 minutes and let everyone else have a chance to get in. We're listening to WonderTruly's music. This is on Spotify. We're going to put all the links in the chat anyway, like we did last time. Isn't this song is so cool.
Disclosure, I'm compliant. You tell me jumping up, I go off the ledge. You've got me flinching when you enter.
You're so cool.
Can't say how much I hate that.
God, I get so cold. I'm a bit nervous. I'm getting a bit cold now, guys. I don't know why that happens. I'm just going to shake my hands a little bit just to get the blood flowing.
I'm on the edge of disaster. You leave me hanging again. Why is it always hurry up and wait? Claustrophobic got me in your little cage, and I know that there's no letting me go. I am Sisyphus endlessly pushing against my face. Hurry up. Wait, hurry up. Wait, hurry up. Wait. I'm wrapped around your finger, your canary puppet on a string. I'm on the edge of disaster. You leave me hanging again. Why is it always hurry up and wait? Take a number, sit back down and know your place. It's ridiculous, I'll shut it down. Even Sisyphus cheated the system I wanna taste. Hurry up and wait. Claustrophobic got me in your little cage, and I know that there's no letting me go. I am Sisyphus endlessly pushing against my fate. Hurry up. Wait, hurry up. Wait, hurry up. Wait.
On the music there, guys. So watch out for your volumes. We're going to listen to one more song before we get the interview going, the conversation going, rather. It's not an interview. I mean, I haven't planned questions, but I definitely have some burning questions. So it kind of is also an interview. It's a conversation. Okay.
I'm
not nervous.
You to behave, so you put on a party dress and skinned your knees.
I'm just going to turn it up a slight bit more.
You got bored of decay and always finding out what color you bleed. You lace your shoes too tight, so when your feet lose feeling, it feels like flying. Draining bottles from the rooftops, hiding from the cops, telling stories, watching eyes go
7-string
wide.
streak hype. Thank
Watch
you.
'em fall in line. Kids like us are a different breed. We claw through our tethers and we never sleep. We keep company with ghosts and thieves. Kids like us, we don't need saving. We don't need saving. We don't need. Found out that we can't have nice boys, 'cause we're the ones nice boys are told to avoid. Drinking things we shouldn't from Coke cans, aiming our cold hands, trigger and point. Running through a wasteland, living off of scraps, burying our teeth in photographs. I bet you nobody dares feel sorry for us anymore. Watch him fall in line, 'cause kids like us are a different breed. We claw through our tethers and we never sleep. We keep company with ghosts and thieves. Kids like us, we don't need saving. We don't need saving. We're angry, but we're pretty, so they'll never see us coming.
Ooh.
They told you to behave. They told you to behave.
All right, I think we should jump
But
in.
we're not gonna behave.
Ooh. Wait a minute.
'Cause kids like us are a different
So good.
breed. We claw through our tethers and we never sleep. We keep company with ghosts and thieves. Kids like us, we don't need saving. We don't need saving. We don't need saving.
I'm just going to turn this down. It's working, guys. Look at this.
We did it.
This sounds so good.
Thank you.
I've not listened to this on headphones before. This sounds... Ooh. I love the tension.
Thank you.
But how is the speaking voice to the background volume for you guys? Little sound check.
Sound. Siggity sound.
Even if I turn down right like that, for me, that is good as a like background level to talk over for a minute and introduce Wonder to everyone. How does it sound, you guys? Okay. I want to say hi to the brilliant WonderTruly. You guys obviously have seen and heard Wonder. Hi, Wonder.
Hi, Clea.
Wonder, it sounds a little quiet to me. I don't know how they are to you guys. Can you please let me know? You guys
I'm
out there, the
speaking. Hello,
people,
dragon.
the people at home.
Speaking for dragon.
We're gonna have-
Speak for dragon.
She sounds fine. Brilliant. We're going to have a conversation today, a completely unplanned conversation. Wanda and I have known each other for, I think it's 3 years. Maybe it might even be going on 4 years now. I think we both joined Twitch around a similar time. And when I started, I was on a much more similar time at night. I was going on at night, and it was deep in the middle of like 2020 or something like this, and in the middle of like just, you know, this weird apocalyptic world. And yeah, we were just out there floating on the sea of Twitch sea, and just like every now and again we'd like find each other and you know, say hi. And that's how it's, and then that's what the journey's been like for on Twitch. But today I'm going to find out a little bit more about Wonder's journey into music, what brought Wonder to music. These are the things that are kind of burning questions. I want to know a little bit about your sort of childhood and what sort of made you get attracted to music. And then I want to ask you a little bit about sort of what that journey was like in terms of, did you start with songwriting and stuff like that? But yeah, first of all, could you just tell us a little bit about your sort of earlier life and what brought you to music?
Well, sure. Yeah, so I was very fortunate to be born
Oh no, I
into,
can't hear anything at all.
You can't hear anything. Uh-oh.
Let me just turn the music right off,
Uh-oh.
see if I can hear you. Can you say something again?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh no, where's the audio? You can
Oh no. Oh
I can hear
no.
you on there, but why that's so weird. Why am I not getting it in
Oh no.
wait, let me put it on. Let me just change one setting, but that's weird because I could hear it before.
Oh man.
Let me try this. Could you say something else?
Starting at my birth. Joey.
Why is it not coming through? Oh my god.
Oh dear. We're doing our best, y'all.
Oh dear. Oh, but I can hear. Why can I hear?
Both of them are coming through the stream. You're just not hearing her.
Yeah. Sorry, Wanda.
It's okay. We'll figure it out.
But the volume's up. Everything's
Oh
right.
dear. What happened?
Oh my god. This
Did you
software.
hear one a minute ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I had it there. Whereas now there's nothing. Well, what I'm going to do as an emergency is I can just listen to the stream and
Okay.
sort of mute myself for a minute while you tell
Okay.
us. Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now? Can everybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Clea can hear me? Okay, cool. Refocus can't see. What? Uh-oh. Oh, Pibby's in the mix. What? What? When did she come in? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Anyway, hi, my name's Wonder. And to answer your first question of how I came into music, my dad is a musician, and my dad's side of the family is like very, very musically oriented. And so it was inevitable that I would follow in that path. How we doing? Can we hear everybody? Okay, cool, cool, cool.
We're doing good. I can hear you. So what I'm going to do for the minute as a workaround is I'm just literally turning up the stream on my phone and then turning it back down again. That's going to work all right for me in terms of I can hear you like that. I wouldn't mind just quickly pressing refresh on the source and see if that works. Let me just refresh the cache. Oh no, I've broken it completely. Why did I press that button? Because I was hoping that would fix it. That's why. Oh no.
Click that refresh browser when Steam comes up.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Oh,
here I am.
I fixed the visual.
You did it. Can you hear me?
But the volume is nowhere to be seen.
No.
And it's so strange because I could hear you at the beginning. So
Oh,
I
what
don't
have we
understand
done?
that at all. That doesn't compute.
We got this though.
Before
It's
I had
gonna be
monitor
fine.
off and it was working. And even if I put it monitor and output, but I can work around it for a minute because it's technology and we can work around it by this other way.
Okay.
So your dad was a musician.
Yeah.
And what did your dad play? And so when did you start playing an instrument and what instrument did you choose?
Sure. Yeah. So my dad, he plays just about everything. He
I have
plays
no audio. Oh, there we go.
oh no. Oh, there we go. Okay, he
There we
plays
go.
bass
Sorry.
and electric guitar, and he's a singer, and he plays keys as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I started writing like silly little songs about Jesus when I was 5, Jesus and Butterflies. And I didn't really seriously get into songwriting until my senior year of high school. And that's when I started dating somebody who was also a musician, and I got to borrow their guitar. And that's how I started picking up instruments and learning songs. Prior to that, I played a little bit of piano, but I wasn't very good at it. Yeah, guitar has always been my main, but like I dabble in keys on the side.
And so, like, when you started to, like, with the songwriting, so you were hearing essentially before you started playing an instrument, you were already hearing melodies and like you were having like lyrical ideas. Um, you know, even though you say they're silly songs, like you were having those ideas as a little human, like they were floating to you, and that's the way that they were floating to you is like in lyrical or a melody. Were you getting both of those things without music?
Yeah, it was like lyrics and melody. And then I was a poet for a lot of my middle school and high school and college years, and even after college, um, I was just like really 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 into poetry, and I would sometimes merge that with writing songs. Um, but yeah, I like got started kind of early, and as soon as I picked up the guitar, I started just like writing music like crazy and writing as many songs as I could, and they were not good, but I they were really good stepping stones to get to where I am. Oh, Andrea's in the mix. Hi, Andrea. Good to see you.
We use that phrase over here about the stepping stones. I love that you said that. We've been talking about that a lot in the last kind of 6 months or so, just as I've been sort of accepting more and more about my own sort of creative processes, especially after like sharing it on Twitch. You start to sort of really notice it more, like how it is and how some of these stones that you can sort of step onto, they feel like really wobbly. Some of them feel more firm, and it's just like as you move, it's not necessarily like it's not easy. You're trying to find your balance and everything like that. So you started playing, you started writing a lot of songs, and I imagine that you've written hundreds of songs. So then did you decide, because not everybody again that wants to write songs then necessarily wants to perform and be an artist and sort of go down that route. So did you start like as you left college and stuff, did you start sort of doing gigs and stuff like that?
So I was in after high school. I got really into the church, and I did a lot of my music in service of ministry in the church. And I was on like church worship band, and I didn't really focus on my own original music until 2013 was when I came out with my first EP. And that was a lot of still just like very religiously coded stuff. And I, um, yeah, I didn't start really writing songs that came straight up just like from me and like how I was actually feeling and like really honest songs until 2014 or the end of 2013 going into 2014 when my life like really started falling apart and I started losing my faith and my marriage at the time started falling apart and it was ample ground. What do they call that? Like sowing ground, seeding ground? I don't know. Ample ground for growing my own original pain into words.
And how was that sort of, how was that? I want to ask how that was received, but in a way, I don't mean how was it received, like, but because I'm not like so much interested in how other people received it, but more like from your point of view as a songwriter, how was that process in terms of how it was received around you? Because obviously you're changing from very much from one kind of artist to another kind of artist, obviously at the same time as everything happening in life, but specifically with that, how was that?
Wow, great question. Clea's coming in here with the great questions today. I really love that. What religion and how did my family take it? Chris Farley wants to know. I was raised super fundamentalist Christian, and then in my teen years, I got into a more Pentecostal Christian church where they did the speaking in tongues and stuff. And my family, I wasn't really close to at the time, and it was more just like my found family and my the family that I married into at the time. The gig the other night was good, Joey. It was last Saturday morning, and it was the loop tongues. And it went well. It was very loud because it was the end of a beer run. But as I started morphing into a drastically different artist, I felt both like so much catharsis and like, because essentially, like when you're songwriting and when you're songwriting honestly, it's you are seeing yourself and like you are acknowledging yourself. And it's like you can still definitely be a songwriter and still be in denial, and you can feed the parts of you that like are in denial and write songs that are not rooted in reality. But for me, it was just a really powerful way of being seen when I felt like nobody else saw me. And I started we moved to Seattle in the beginning of 2014, as things were falling apart. And I started going to gigs and like gigs. It was like a lot of open mics and a lot of like, definitely you get drink tickets maybe, but you don't get paid anything. And I was losing so much money doing it, but it just like fed my soul so much to be performing and to be validated in that way. And it really set me on, um, I don't know. It was just a really, really powerful foundation to springboard off of with my original music.
I guess it's because like you're saying the way that your songwriting was like a mirror for you. You know, you were, it was a way for you to express, you know, yourself, your true self, see that back for yourself as well, and like hear your own, the things that you can't say to anyone else, you can say in a song. So then you get to
Mm-hmm.
hear your like your own deepest feelings and thoughts and all of that, and then you're taking that out in front of people, and then they're seeing you as well. And so, yeah, I can imagine that was, you know, a real, like, it must have been an incredible experience, really, going from sort of such a transformation in your life, really like turning into sort of a different person in a way as well, um,
Mm-hmm.
but still being yourself. So just like a snake shedding its skin or something coming out like that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That's really cool. So then you started doing the open mics, and obviously music must have started going well for you because you've carried on in it. You I know have like had like sponsorship deals. I don't know that much else about your career in terms of just the things that I've really seen on Instagram and stuff like that going along. So I sort of know kind of where you're up to in what you're doing creatively, but I don't know much about, you know, what kind of experiences you had in the industry, sort of
Mm.
from, could you tell us a little bit about that? Like how long after doing open mics and stuff did you start maybe recording and all of that stuff, and any other things related to that?
Yeah. So I um in 2014, after things like really, really fell apart, I ended up getting a gig on cruise ships with Carnival. I was a guitar soloist, and I learned just hundreds and hundreds of decades pop songs on the spot. It forced me to grow really, really quickly. And it was you sing 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. And it was like, it was really rough. It was very intense. The whole lifestyle is extremely intense. And uh, the rumors about sailors and how the drinking and sleeping with each other and swearing is very true. And it was very easy to get tangled up in that life. And it was also the time when some of the most intense poetry came out of me. I was like really into writing poetry then. And into my second contract was when I started like really, really, really writing songs. And so that was a really big industry thing that like proved that even at this early point in my career, I could make a full time living doing music, just singing and playing guitar. Even though I wasn't very good at it, I was able to just like make my way. And um, in some ways, I was able to sneak in new material and sort of like test them off out on these audiences. And I recorded a lot of my first album, Burn the Answers, in the It's technically below the surface of the sea because my cabin was like underwater. Um, and so like a lot of my first album was just recorded that way, and I finished recording it after my contract was over. But so I did ships for about 2 years, and then in 2017, 2018, I was courted by The Voice, and I made callbacks, but I didn't make it onto the show, which was just fine because those contracts are terrifying. The contracts with Universal are so scary. They're like, we literally own everything about you to the end of the universe. Not even the known universe, just the end of the universe completely.
I agree with that, and I know people. I guess we all know people who have other musicians that have gone for that and stuff now as well. So you kind of really hear a lot of stories about how it is. How they can only record in their studios, like they literally own you afterwards. And I also went to go and do a voice audition. At the time, I had a baby. I was like, a breastfeeding mum basically with my
Whoa.
second child, I think. And I was absolutely shattered. And I went in there and like the room was full of like so many different, sort of like full of energy, like aspiring artists. And I was like literally laying on the floor, like, I'm so tired, guys, And I'm sure one guy just walked past me and was like, like get up sort of thing. And I was just like, oh, it's all to come for you guys. You don't know yet, just life just beating me down. Anyway, they sort of said I was quirky and they liked it. I got the second through to like the second round and then I was out of there. Yeah. But I'm glad as well that I never went any further with that. And also X Factor rung me up and after they watched the YouTube video and I was like, nah, you're all right. Thanks. No, because they're just that I know how they treat people and they don't care. And I'm not into that kind of, I've had other experiences where I've got really quite burnt within the industry. And so I'm not really for it anyway. Like it doesn't really appeal to me. And so I was so happy when I found Twitch and then, I've stayed happy doing Twitch. I really, really enjoy it and feel so glad that we have the power to kind of reach our audiences in this way and sort of authentically and organically grow rather than what happens to a lot of artists once they've been gotten hold of can be really detrimental and really unhealthy. I sort of wanted to ask you a little bit about any experiences you've had like that. I don't know if you want to, but I also really want you to play a song because we've been talking for a little while. So I think maybe we should have a little song break if that's all right with you. If you're up for playing something today, because I know you haven't been well.
Of course.
But yeah, let us know what song you're playing, and we'll sit and listen.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. I will play my song. It's so exciting. I knew we were going to do music today and I like didn't think about what music I wanted to play. I will play you my song Priceless, which is about stumbling into a fairy market. And my guitar wasn't working the other day, but maybe it'll work now. Full volume singing or gentle? We'll see. Nope, I think the battery's dead. And I will not change it. I'll just go into playing. But I wrote this as part of February Album Writing Month this year, which is a worldwide community endeavor to individually write 14 songs in 28 days. This year we had 29 days. And I ended up writing 16 songs, I think. The first year I did it was in 2021, and I did 20 songs, and I was like very much on fire for that project. Joey wanted to know how I found Twitch. My partner Jimothy was a full-time Twitch gamer in 2016, and he very lovingly and gently hounded me for for a long time to finally get on Twitch. And then I did at the end of 2020, and it was everything I needed. And it has since remained everything I need. It's such a great community. So anyway, this is called Priceless. It's about stumbling upon a fairy market. Sunsets over the tents, and we come to life, where we come to sell our wares by moonlight. Bring your lovesick heart, take a cautious start with me. Your money's no good here, but nothing's for free. What you take for granted is what's priceless to me. Like how you feel when you look at the stars at night, the taste of water on your lips, every memory of the times you were furious, every lover's last kiss. No tricks, just honest trade. I can tell no lies. So what's the reason that you sought me out tonight? I can cast a spell on the ones who did you harm. I can change your future with just one simple charm. So what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Sunsets over the tents, and we come to life. Beware the creatures fair who deal by moonlight.
Woo, 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 woo.
Thank you.
I love that. I have to ask again. You said it was about going into did you say it was going into a fairy market?
Yeah.
Pause it. Sorry, it's so cringe. I have to like hear my own voice back because I'm just listening through
Oh,
my
it's
phone.
okay.
I love that so much. Like I wouldn't even think of writing a song about something like that. That's so amazing. And just thinking about where it could be like placed as well, like what kind of like films or whatever it could go and be a part of. But so when you're thinking about what you're going to write your songs about, really, your reach is like reaches really far, like your imagination. And what are the things that you've found to be like, so if I was going to answer the question, what things have inspired you like in life, like to write songs, mine always came from like sort of, they started off like being like an emotional really like needing to express feelings and not really totally always knowing even what those feelings were, and just expressing them. Sometimes they would be like if I learned something at school, like in science, I would end up writing a song about it. Like 2399 was one of the songs I wrote as a kid, because I was like, oh
cool.
wow, that fraction, like it was so geeky. But like when I found out that if you scream in space that you couldn't be heard, I was like, oh my god. And that was in science as well. It was just like, what the fuck, that's so inspiring. And then I'd write a song about it. But mostly it's been like introspective. For the most part, I feel like it's usually just like based on feelings. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspires your writing?
Sure. Yeah. So I used to be pretty chained to writing songs as just expression of what I was feeling. Um, I have had depression since I was very, very young. I've had anxiety since I was very, very young. And I have often been just like overwhelmed with feelings. And thankfully, I had art and music as an outlet growing up. And when I was a teen, it was a lot of art was my main outlet, and poetry. And then when I was in my early 20s, it was definitely just like songs as catharsis to get my stuff, to get the gunk out of me, to like bloodlet essentially. And I definitely was with a lot of artists in the same camp as a lot of artists who write solely out of pain, and out of expression. And I shared the sentiment with a lot of artists that if I wasn't depressed anymore, like if I got help, if I got on medication, if I was happy, that I would lose the ability to make art, because I wouldn't have I wouldn't need to like bloodlet essentially. And then I took the leap and started getting medicated and got therapy. And it turned out that it wasn't the end of the world for myself as an artist. And when I got happy, I realized that my scope of songwriting didn't shrink. It actually grew tremendously. And like now I can still write songs and like I can just pluck like different parts of me and like different parts of my memories out and make them into songs. I can still call upon those feelings of pain and hurt, but I can also I can write songs based on movies. I can write songs based on TV shows and books, and like little prompts like you stumble into a fairy market, or the taxi driver drops you off in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night, or amphibian, or there was in February album writing month, there was a bunch of prompts, and the exercises are called skirmishes, where you get a prompt and then you have an hour to write a song based on that prompt. And a lot of my February album writing month songs came from those prompts. And it's really cool. Like being emotionally stable really is all it's cracked up to be. Like you can do so much with it. It's pretty amazing.
I love that. I find it. Oh, sorry about my crackly knob, as it were, because it is actually. Oh, and this double volume, very professional. Crackly knob, but it is. This is. I can't fix this. I find that really inspiring. Like I totally relate to that in terms of, I sort of remember like friends saying to me like, well, actually, I say friends. One friend who was very honest with me and was my best friend growing up as a teenager. He said to me, why you always go to the guitar when you're sad?" And I was just like, what, and sort of just argued with him about it. But it stuck with me when he said that, because I was like, he was right. And it's like he was the one who made me think, yeah, he's right. Eventually, once my ego got out of the way, I was like, that's true. And it was a slow journey because of, mental health and everything to get to the point where I had something else to express other than, the pain that was needing to. I love that Bloodlet. My God, yeah, and Gunk as well, because I always say that it's like janky sort of these janky feelings, and I still get that now where I have to use singing or whatever just to get the all the gunk out and then get on with the work. And there's so much more joy once you're feeling emotionally stable. There's so much more joy, in your life, and to be able to express that in music. And the music that I want to listen to is quite often joyful music. I find it quite hard to listen to, say, for example, I used to love Radiohead. I can't now because it's like, it would just make me feel sad. A lot of it would make me feel sad, and I just can't. I still love singing sad songs sometimes and listening sometimes, but mainly I'm like, I want the joy, because I've spent so long with those feelings that you just want to come away. I don't actually have any other questions right now. I'm going to ask the chat if they've got any questions. It's probably because I'm really hungry right now, in this moment here.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going to grab a quick something to eat, like while we're sitting on stream. And if you could play us another song as well, maybe. Oh, so you were saying about these skirmishes. That is awesome as well, because I'm wanting to like run songwriting workshops coming up, and that sounds like an awesome idea. And the fact that you got so many of your album songs from doing quick exercises that's really interesting. And I also want to talk to you about your production journey in a minute, but
Ooh.
what, you can use a master volume knob on the mixer to turn down your mic
If it's not crackly, you can
Oh
just
yeah,
switch that one down.
I'll do that. So I'm gonna just pass it back over to Wonder a minute. I don't need a wee, Chris. Why are you saying that? I should do though, otherwise I'm dehydrated. But are there bucket list collabs? That's a good question. Right, let me mute myself a minute, and so Wonder can answer some questions from chat, and maybe play us another song.
Perfect. Awesome. Go eat, Clea. Clea needs food. I think when you're in the state of oppression, it's difficult to envision emotional stability. Yup. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference between being stable and being constantly fake happy. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, coming from the church, that was like the standard, right? Is it like the aggressive positivity and like forcing happiness and forcing joy, which you can't force joy. That's impossible. But feigning it absolutely is difficult to find that middle ground when you are a person with depression. So 100% agree. Fake happy was a constant state of being. 100%. Oh, Joe's here. Hi, horror host Joe. Yes, masking. Yep. Bucket list collabs. Just a lot of people on Twitch. Like, I really want to collaborate with EBX Aaron. Emily Anderson and I have done an annual co-write every year for the last several years, and I'm really looking forward to do another one. I love co-writing with Aubryn. She's a great person to work with. Basically, just people on Twitch. I love doing co-writes. I love doing collabs. And I'm going to play you a song that came out of 2021's February album writing month as the result of a failed co-write. I was not as carefully vetting of the people I worked with in 2021, and I picked some guy to do a collab with, and I'm very proud of the way that I do collabs. I very intentionally create a lot of space for the other person to play around in and for me to also play around in. And there have been a couple times where that space is like not really acknowledged or recognized and is taken advantage of. And this was one of those cases where the person I was supposed to be co-writing with was spent essentially the whole time telling me that I was never going to be the next Dolly Parton. I was never going to be the next Patsy Cline. Like, listen to this one Patsy Cline song. Oh, you'll never be able to duplicate that. It was really bizarre. Just a really interesting rant. And it totally wasted a bunch of my time. And afterwards, I was like, well, you know what? Like, I'm not going to be the next Dolly Parton. Obviously, it's not what I want. And I'm not going to be the next whoever, but I'm going to turn this experience into something good. And so this is my song, my quintessential songwriter song of I met the devil and he gave me an offer for my soul. And here's the song that was playing and where I was and what I did. in response to that. Oh dear. Gotta retune. I guess I really busted my guitar in the last one. Chris Farley says, as I've been crawling out of my depression hole again lately, which allowed you to return to enjoy Clea's and other music. Oh, that's wonderful. One of your feel songs is Blackbird by the Beatles, as it reminds me that I'm not perfect as I was expected to be growing up. Oh, that's so tough. And that's always going to be up and down, for sure. What music helped me and why? Oh my gosh. So there's a song that I actually have tattooed on me. I have two songs. I have two songs tattooed on me. And one of them is my friend Gabriel wrote this song called, I guess it's just called Time Don't Stand Still, but I got Time Don't Stand Still, Why Should I tattooed as my second ever tattoo. And then when I was in a really, really low place, this song by this very, very niche a cappella band called Aurora got me through a lot, and their song was called Out Is Through, and so I got Out Is Through tattooed on my hand as a reminder that there's no shortcuts in getting through the hard stuff and the dark stuff. But this is Johnny Burned. Hope you enjoy it. I remember the song that was playing when the devil caught my eye. The room was dark and just one seat was empty. He said, I've been waiting for you for a while. Take your seat across from me. We both know how this goes. Hear my offer, honest, you can refuse it. You can go or you can burn, 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 burn. Just like Johnny burned, 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 burned. Don't you wanna burn, 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 burn? Just like Patsy Cline when she cried while she watched her cigarette burn. Fame and riches are for the uncreative. You and I share a finer taste. Staying hungry, sucking out the marrow. I couldn't let you go to waste. I have a mind to disincline. It's quite a clever gambit. But if I play you, show your ace, what you get in return. If I burn, 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 like black velvet, burned, 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 burned. Strike a match and burn, 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 burn. Just like Bruce did when he woke up in a cold sweat and never stopped screaming about being on fire. I remember the song that was playing when the devil took my soul. Now I burn, 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 burn. Just like Johnny burned, 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 burned. Don't you wanna burn, 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 burn? Just like Patsy Cline when she cried, just like fire on the mountain, like when Charlie wrote a song about a fiddle down in Georgia. Like every fool who rolls the dice for a prize he hasn't earned. So so we can burn. Mortal Wombat's here. Hey, Mortal Wombat.
Sweet. I wish I had a clap sound. Oh, sorry about that little thing.
Clap, 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 clap. Oh, thank you,
I'm just
Chris
going to
Farley.
press
Thank you,
one.
Repost,
Sorry
for
to
the
cut you
clap.
off so quickly after your song. That was beautiful. That was. I'm just going to press one button, which I hope doesn't do anything to us, just because I've found some settings on OBS, which are like global audio settings. So I'm just going to press something and hope to God that it doesn't like do anything to us except for something good, which means I can hear you through my headphones and actually have a conversation rather than this stop starting, which is slightly disruptive. So let me just press this button. I'm so scared to press it.
Do it.
Ooh, something's happened
Push
there.
the button.
Can you say something?
Push the button. Push the button.
Is it frozen? Wait, what's it done?
Oh no.
No, I can't. How can I
no.
still not hear anything? That
Oh dear.
it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
I can see her volume, but I cannot hear.
It's no
And
good.
it was working at the beginning. It's very.
Lively Inclusive's here.
I've got it
Oh,
on mono and
yay, Lively
output. I've got
Inclusive.
it. All the
Hi,
settings are right.
friends.
It's really like hard. It makes me want to press this button here and join it on my phone.
The RC505 one and put that on monitor and output.
We got technical stuff going on. Technical stuff
This is on.
going
That's.
on.
I mean, it says you should check. Sorry, Wanda. It says you should check where you're routing the browser to, like check where the audio is going. But there's no way to actually check where that audio is going. As in, is it desktop audio? Is it what it is? But it should all go through the sound card anyway. So now it's routed to the sound card
Trickery
by the OBS settings, but it's still not playing through the speaker. Why not? All of this
Lively
doesn't
Inclusive.
matter.
How was the
Desktop
last
audio out,
week of
audio
stuff?
out. Like,
It's like it was really going.
what does it want from me? It is in beta, so there is that.
Smack.
It's just that frustrating feeling of like you try and do things and then
The only thing I'd suggest is just trying to put a thing in again. And see if it...
I feel like I don't want to mess with it because Wonder can be heard.
Or whatever.
A new one, a new same browser source.
Oh yay, Lively Inclusive. I'm so glad.
And new one.
I'm glad we got to raid in on Monday. That was awesome. And I'm so sorry I couldn't stick
So
around. but
add
it
a new
looked really
browser
fun.
source. Call it Wonder 2.
Yeah.
Carmela is today. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
1920,
That doesn't matter.
Alright, just get a browser thing.
Control audio via OBS, you would think.
Yep.
And then go grab the
Anonymous
browser
Nancy legend.
again. Sorry, guys. Browser source settings. Right. Let's go in there and get it because we're going to go down to
My
the
recovery
guest
from
one,
long COVID or
copy.
my recovery from
We're going to come back. We're going to paste
recovery
it.
from other stuff.
And it's going to work. I'm telling it.
And then, okay. Right. Could have done that scene active thing.
There she is
So,
twice.
there she is twice. Can you hear it?
Here I am twice.
Could you say something?
Hello.
please.
Oh, specifically COVID. Yes, I'm
No,
sure that experience will be
no
in more songs.
Difference. Okay,
Oh,
I'll carry
no.
on as we... Oops! I've turned you off both of them now. Why is this one not coming back? Ah!
Can you still hear me?
Use that one.
Yep, we'll use this one. That's fine. Okay, nothing happened. There's nothing to see here. Right, what I'm going to do... it's annoying because it's just breaking my brain in terms of trying to think in a flowing way and sort of like, you know, just have interject and just kind of have a normal conversation. So it's hurting my brain a little bit, guys. So thanks for bearing with us with this. I'm having to basically, I can't hear Wonder, so I'm having to keep stop starting and press play. Looks like I'm frozen. Is ours frozen?
You're not frozen.
We're not frozen on my OBS, but on the stream it looks like it's... Oh, that's because I've paused it, guys. No. See, my brain is hurting.
Oh, no.
Right, let's see if we can get back on track to where... Are you all right, Wonder? Do you need to drink or anything? Are you okay? You're fine.
I'm good.
So I'm going to have... It's not an OCD break, Joey. Stop it! Ah! I can't hear Wonder. It's really annoying. So I'm just going to try and carry on and just gather my brain together. I've tried everything. It's not working. So let me come back to where we were, where we'd got to. You'd got to sort of joyful songwriting. You've gone through a transformation. You've done open mic nights. You've worked on a cruise ship for 2 years and started writing lots of poetry. You started working on essentially your first album, Under the Sea. You started writing it under the sea, and then you've carried on. You've then started finding Twitch and collaborating, and now we get to the point where in the last kind of year, I think it is, possibly year and a half, from what I understand, you've begun your journey into production and producing yourself, which is the journey that I've been trying to get onto, and I'm just literally stepping onto by myself within the last 2 weeks, and I'm super excited about it. I've got a very punk ethos towards it, which is necessary. I'm wearing it like a coat of armor in order to get myself into it and not be afraid of the outcome and all of that stuff. I know that you've done a sort of like some kind of like a production course, as it were. I would love you to talk to us about your journey into production, if you had fear around it, if it was something that you were keen to do, if you'd ever thought of doing it before, was it like a natural progression for you, and sort of where you want to go as well with it.
Sure, yeah. So I actually started producing at the end of 2013 because the person I was married to at the time was also a music producer. So I got in the easy way. I got to learn from somebody who was already kind of a pro, and I started on Ableton. And I was a YouTuber at the time, and so I would do covers, and so I would like produce my covers and then do videos. And I ended up self-producing my first EP, Lungs, which is available on Bandcamp, and that was in early 2014. And then I stopped for a while because I didn't have good software. And then somebody introduced me to not Bandcamp, GarageBand. And I used GarageBand, and I very quickly outgrew it because I love vocal stacks, and I was doing like 70 tracks of just like choral vocals being enormous, and GarageBand kept crashing. So I eventually invested in Logic, and that was in the tail end of 2014 going into 2015. And that's when I started self-producing my first album, and I did that into early 2016. And then I just kind of stopped self-producing for a while, and I didn't really get back into it until 2020, I think. Yeah, because that was when I got a gig for a children's edutainment program. I got to do a 15-minute, or it was like 17, 18 minutes of a little show called The Veggies Under the Stairs. And I did, me and my partner did all the voiceovers. I did all the paintings and drawings for it. And we also did all the music for it. So I got to self produce that. And that was sort of my like dipping my toe back in. And then in 2021, when I was on Twitch, I think just the Twitch community gave me so much confidence to work on my songs in whatever capacity. And I had upgraded some of my like software and my hardware, and I finally had a space where I could start to self-produce again. And so I did that through 2021. Then I got sick at the end of 2021. And I finally started recovering at the end of 2022. And I got back into producing at the end of 2022, and I've been hardcore producing for the last year. So that is my entire itinerary of producing.
Where am I? I'm over here. Do you feel like sort of sort of having been poorly for such a extended amount of time, so now you're like, whoa, like going forward like that with it, do you feel like it has like honed your perspective and what you want? And do you feel like it, you know, because I know it's a terrible thing, but I also know that sometimes from those kind of experiences in life, there's many things that we learn. So no, I was just wondering, yeah, so like obviously now you're doing so much, and like a little, take us a little bit into the future of what you're seeing for yourself, please.
Oh boy. Okay. Um, so first of all, I'm always very surprised when I take a break from either visual art or songwriting or producing. And I always think like, oh no, I'm losing it. Like I'm losing my skill. If I it's use it or lose it, right? It's like, oh no, I'm out of practice, so I'm not as good. But then every time I come back to it, whatever it is, I realize that in resting, I've been like planting seeds and like learning new things and becoming better, even though I wasn't doing it, if that makes sense. So that was definitely my experience with production. Just like my ears got with production and with songwriting and stuff, it's really cool because in the time you're not writing and actually doing it, you are still listening to music. So your ears are getting better and your understanding of music is getting better. And I think that's very cool. Going into the future, I'm really excited because my client Trina Chakrabarty, and or Tacky Trina Tunes. We've been working on her EP for almost a year, and it is epic. It is so good. I'm so excited for every single one of the songs, and that is going to come out in June. The second single is going to come out on Bandcamp Friday in April. It's called Your Monster. It is so good. I cannot overstate how good it is. Um, really excited about that. I'm excited for a bunch of my other clients. Angie Lynn, Chad Spoiler, C-Dub Guitar, and my friend Jesse is also one of my clients. And um, I in January I set out to record a live acoustic album of one takes, and I did, and it ended up being 30 songs. So I need to mix those and get those out, and I'm gonna release them as a three volume project with 10 songs each. And then I need to record the songs that I did for February album writing month, as I think I'll probably do them as one takes again. Um, and then my big project is to get back to work on the 2021 album because my friends on Twitch so graciously crowdfunded a huge portion of it, and I was able to pay my drummer and pay a bassist and a bunch of other artists to be on it, as well as for some like hardware upgrades and for living expenses while I was working on it. But so much support has already been poured into this album. This just sort of been like sitting there, and I'm really excited to get back to it. I'm also very intimidated, but when the time is right, I know it'll be perfect coming back to it.
What is the I mean, that all sounds amazing. First of all, that all sounds totally amazing. Like how much work you've got as a producer, and everything, having all these different clients. Because as musicians, we, you know, there's so many things that we have to sort of do in order to kind of stay afloat, and you know, these different income streams. So the fact that you're now producing for other people, like congratulations, that's absolutely amazing. And I can totally see why. I love your production, I really do. I love your songwriting and your production. The sound is awesome. So I'm like, yes, I can't wait to have the money so I can come work with you as well. So
Oh,
basically, oh look, Joey's got a good question, but I've got to mute again, so I'll just say what I was going to ask as well, which was when you're saying it's like intimidating to come back to this album, that, you know, um sort of, I can understand why it's intimidating, but could you break that down for us a little bit? And also, what are the things that you have in place to kind of combat that feeling? Because I know that you'll have things in your toolkit that are gonna, like, how you're gonna sort of approach it and deal with that.
totally. Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually have been in the last several months dealing with some like actual serious fear surrounding my production. Um, and I am really, really lucky to have a mentor teaching me how to do mixing and mastering. And he's been doing it for decades. So it's like a very awesome resource that I have. And it's also my mentor pushes me a lot and is very, very on me about like this has to be excellent. Like if your name is attached to it, it has to be the best it can be. And I think I took that a step too far and was like, oh no, like this isn't as I'm not good enough to make this as good as it needs to be right now. And so I've sort of been in this like paralysis of working on stuff because I want it to be perfect. And the fact is that like I'm still training my ears. Like my ears are only so good, and the only way to get better is to practice and do it as much as possible. And I need to. I recently started like reintegrating the theory of good is better than perfect, which is 100% true. Like with everything, I sincerely believe that it's much, much better to have things be out in the world than to be technically perfect because we are all technically imperfect people and we relate to technically imperfect things. And so as far as this 2021 album being intimidating to return to, I think like I'm worried that I'm worried that I won't be able to recreate the magic that I had while working on it in 2021. Um, I'm worried that the way that I sound now, because my voice has been so affected in the time that I was sick, I sing a little bit differently now. I'm worried that that'll be like really evident on the record. But as far as like getting over it, I think I just need to Nike myself into it and like just do it. I need to just do it. And it is a matter of just like sitting down and doing the thing. But Joey, oh yeah, Joey said, "What is my process when I sit down to record? What is my first step?" That is such a good question. I would love to hear Clea's take on this too. I'm really excited, Clea, for your production journey, and I can't believe you've only sat down to do this 2 weeks ago because what I've heard so far is amazing. Like you're so good already, and your ears are phenomenal, and like your are already like very good. So I'm really excited for you to be like playing, and I love your approach of just like looking at it as a playground. I'm really really impressed by that. But when I sit down to record, um, I will generally do a scratch track with both guitar and vocals um, to a click. Um, and then I will record guitar over that and then do vocals over the guitar or scratch vocals over the guitar. And then I'll start building the arrangement around it. And once the arrangement is to a point where I feel like the energy is there, then I'll re record the actual vocals, which is a thing that's happened in the song that was supposed to release in February, my song Unforgivable. It was all ready to go and I had already done the vocals, and then I realized that like the drums sounded kind of meh. And so I did a little crowdfunding on Twitch to hire my friend Alex to do drums on it, and he just like elevated the crap out of this song. It is so good now and the energy is amazing. And so I had to like sit down and re-record vocals for it. And now it's a whole mess and I have to like go back to essentially the drawing board of mixing everything because you want to mix from like the drums up. So it's a really exciting and challenging project, and I love recording most of the time. I still struggle with um with getting things right. And I don't like comping takes in Logic. Like I think it's a really really good tool, but I never got it to do what I needed it to do, so I do like full takes essentially now and just like do them one at a time. But yeah, that's my process for recording. Thank you, Joey. What a good question.
That was an excellent question. I love the answer to that. The whole time you were speaking, then I was thinking, oh, we need more of this from you. Like this kind of information. Like, I mean, oh God, I don't want to put any more pressure on you because I know what it's like. But, you know, that kind of content is like just so cool. It's so cool to hear an artist and a producer talk about and to hear you specifically talking about your process there. The fact that you're choosing not to comp vocals, it's all making me feel really happy inside. You know, when you're just like, someone's talking and you just start to get that kind of happy, like, yes, feeling because I agree with you. I can see that I've done some comping of vocals before. I've done like little bits of recording when I've had to do jobs, you know, or I'm collaborating or something like that. I just haven't really done my own stuff in that way. And so I was just thinking as well when you were saying that, like how awesome it is that you're getting to kind of work with different musicians and the difference that that can bring. And I'm thinking about like, you know, having to work with your ears changing, your ears getting better mid process, like the different things that you're dealing with at the moment in terms of like this 2021 album, which I sort of want to be called 2021 because I feel like that's kind of a cool title when you keep saying it. It sounds really good. But because it was of such a time as well. But yeah, just that you've got so many different kind of things to kind of piece together within what you're doing at the moment, like connecting the dots back up for yourself and trusting that your voice is that where it is now is right for, you know, trusting in timing, the timing of everything and kind of like submitting to that process, which is what you're about to do. Wow, that's so cool, that question about how you what your process is when you record and your approach to that. Like your timing is so good. Like when you were playing your song earlier, the second one that you just played, which I've forgotten the name because I was distracted by OBS, but when you were playing that, I was like this because actually the song, it's I love songs like that where they're kind of sparse. They could sound like they're slow, but they're not. There's this kind of energy underneath the whole time. And to do that as a solo, Johnny Byrne, yeah, that one, to do that as like a solo artist as well, I always think is really impressive because to get that drive going in the songs is really cool. So now you've got to redo vocals because the drums on this track have been done by someone else, and it's just, yeah, it's fantastic. You're getting to get different musicians in to work with. It was intense. You could feel it for sure. It was really intense. It was brilliant. I didn't know that you were feeling all of that about, you know, your voice as well. I don't actually know. Obviously, it's something that as singers we feel it more. Like we notice, you know, the minutiae and the tiny things within our voice that no one else would ever really pick up on, but we can just feel it for ourselves. And that must be what you're, because it does, you know, it's this organic instrument and it changes over time. It changes depending on your hormones, depending on your hydration, your sleep, like so many things affect it. So it can be kind of a weird instrument to work with in that way. It's like you kind of have to have this like a different kind of respect for it and how you look after it and all of that. Like it's a whole relationship. So that in itself must have been like quite a journey for you as well as a singer. I've heard you talking. I remember we were talking about something before, but I can't remember what it was we were talking about. This was a couple of years ago, different things that you were working on vocally. I really love the way that you sing. Like I love what you choose to do and what your melody, how your melodies are. So you've done a lot and you say you love doing vocal stacking, and I'm thinking a lot of that maybe is coming from like the church, getting an opportunity to really sing from a young age within the church and getting honing your ear for like harmonies and stuff like this from a young age. But it doesn't sound like gospel or anything like that, and it doesn't sound even like, I wouldn't have known that you had the church kind of influence. It's not there in the music, as it were, is what I'm saying. It's I don't hear that, but I don't know. I'm just saying I love the way you sing. I don't really have a question that I'm moving on to at this point. I'm just waffling and I don't know how to like throw the ball back right now. So I'm just gonna mute myself.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, about like the church influencing my vocal stacks, but it's very possible because the group that I was in was like big on harmonies. Also, like I so I think I'm big on harmonies because in high school I had this core friend group, Jess and Austin, and we would ride around together in Jess's Volvo, and she would play like musical soundtracks, and she and Austin would always take like the lead and the main harmony, and so I had to come up with like different harmonies. Um and that was really like fun and rewarding to me, and I think that's why I feel very excited, and it's like thrilling to come up with different harmonies and like making things worse, all making things work. Also, um I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Whitaker. He's a choir composer. Yes, you are. Absolutely. We did a bunch of his stuff in high school choir, and that like I was an alto, and I like love love the way his harmonies stack. It's so addictive. But yeah, that's definitely where I got like my love of harmonies and vocal stacks. And it's just like really cool when you're calling the shots, and like we have the technology now to where we one person can be a billion different voices. um I think that is very very cool. Joey asked, is the artist ever satisfied, which is such a good question, and how close is your voice to being back? My voice is, I am at a point where I'm I can work really well with my voice, especially since I've written so much new material since I've been back, to accommodate my voice with where it's at. It's harder sometimes doing my older material where I did like big falsetto stuff because I don't really have my falsetto back. But it's I'm so grateful for how much it's back at all. Because I remember I wrote one song in the thick of being sick, and I my voice memo of it is just like so pathetic and small. Um and maybe one day I'll share that. That's one that I have not shared. Would I like to do an album with a full orchestra? Would I? Absolutely. Who wouldn't? When I was it's a shame the pandemic happened when it did, because it was at the time when I was putting together my band for the first time, and I had a drummer, and I had an upright bassist, and I had a cellist, and we were like amazing. And we'd started doing gigs, and we weren't at the point where we were doing my original stuff yet, but we were definitely like we could have. And then pandemic happened, and so we didn't get a chance to play more together after like 2 gigs. But is an artist ever satisfied? Is such a good question. I think learning to be satisfied as an artist is an excellent and worthy and noble endeavor. I think it's very important to learn to be satisfied. I um sometimes, and it depends too, like I rely a lot on like other people's perspectives in determining like when something is finished. Not always, but sometimes. And it's like if I'm working on a client track and they say it's good and it's done and it's perfect, then I'm like, okay, I can't touch it anymore. It's good, it's done, it's perfect. Um, and then I remember very clearly doing the Christmas Collabamajig track. I worked with Joyce Lee, and we did a song called Overrated, which, by the way, has almost the most streams of any of my songs this year, like after Christmas happened. It has so many streams on Spotify. I don't know what happened, but people were really into this song. But I remember like I did program the drums for that. I didn't get live drums, but I got my Shane to my I got my friend Shane, my Shane, to do electric guitar on it, and it totally just like transformed the song into, it like elevated it from this like singer songwriter thing to this thing that like sounds like it should be in the musical Rent. It was amazing. It was so good. And having that plugged in made so many things mesh together. And I still am very, very satisfied with that track. And I guess it shows because it's got some of the most streams of any of my songs on Spotify. Um, but yeah, Joyce the Rockstar, indeed. While rock out, you write hooky pop, insightful folk EDM. Where is my heart really? Where is my heart?
Did you see Lindsay's
It's all over
question
the
there as
place.
well about
That's
where
such
would
a
be
good
your
question.
dream venue to play?
Ooh, dream venue. Honestly, like I love house concerts. They're the best. I do house concerts on a donation model, and so it's like really, really low pressure, and donations are collected at the end. So it's like people decide in the moment, like after seeing my show, like what the show is worth to them, and I find that really, really rewarding. But like honestly, who wouldn't love to play like the Troubadour in LA or the Paramount in Seattle? Um I don't know if the MIM Music Instrument Museum does shows here. I think they do. But yeah, like who wouldn't want to do a little theater run? I think that would just be like so cool. I would not want to be in charge of having to sell tickets for that. I would need a team to like handle all of that for me because I ain't about it. I've never really been about the like industry of paying to play and like hustling for tickets. I did it once. I did it once. And I did a really good job marketing it and I sold so many tickets and it was for one of those scam things where they're like, if you sell this many tickets, we'll pay you this much. And I totally didn't get paid. And so I never did that again. And um, I have very much been uh, about in my gigging life. I've been very straightforward and like I will either play house shows by donation or I'm going to do gigs that pay. And that's it. And I was very successful with that for many years until the pandemic. What is your dream venue?
Um, First of all, I love your attitude towards all of that. Like doing the house concerts and the fact that you kind of got burnt once with that, and then we're like, no, that's not for me. Because I've had um, and I'm just fascinated by how different like every musician that you can speak to, every like artist that you can speak to, has got such a different journey, even though it's within the same field. So I did a load of those kind of pay to play type situations when I was in my early 20s. And because I started gigging when I was 14, so I was doing like the pubs and stuff. Whoa. I started writing when I was 11, so lyrics and melody, and then played bass. I got a bass for my 13th birthday. And within about 2 months, I started playing guitar because I was like, I need to write songs. So I picked up the guitar then. And by the next year, I obviously felt I was like, right, I'm ready to go and do a gig now, even though, I really wasn't very good. But I managed to get the gig. And I think a lot of the time it is just that thing of putting yourself out there and people respect it. And I was very lucky that, looking back, that was in the 90s, the early 90s. And there were so many pubs in my area in the southeast of England. There were tons and tons of these little pubs, right? Almost not on every street, but almost on every street. So that's a lot of different little grassroots venues to play and earn a living, earn a crust from. So it was, and when you're doing that as a teenager, that's quite a good amount of money to be earning from such a young age. And so I carried on like that. I got I used to borrow a PA of someone at that point. I'd hire it for like 10 quid or whatever off of a friend. And then when I was 15, my stepdad died and I got an inheritance, and with that money, like a small amount of money, of like, but massive for that age, of like about £1,000 or something, and I bought my first PA and my guitar, this guitar that I've still got now, and that was it. I was kind of like set up with my business, and then I just, I didn't learn to drive until I was in my early 20s. So for those years there, I must have got a lift off people all the time. But I've been very lucky after that. In my mid-20s, I joined to be a part of Jar Wobble, who is a bass bass player and a world music artist. Basically, I got to join his band, and then I spent the about almost a decade touring as part of his band. So I actually got to play the Troubadour in LA and places like that. And I didn't even really know what that venue was. I was quite I didn't know until I went there, and I was like, you see the names on the wall and you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it was literally like living an absolute dream. And I'm so grateful that I had that time, because the one thing that I really wanted from when I was like dreaming about doing music was to travel, and it really did give me that. It really, really gave me like the chance to travel when I was younger. And then I stopped touring when my kids were small, and since then, and then I released an album at that point, and then since then I've been kind of a little bit in hiding, to be honest. I had a bad experience just before that point with somebody that I was working with, and things were about to launch and whatnot, and it went very bad. The situation went bad, and I basically experienced because that was the time of MySpace and Facebook and stuff were just starting out, and basically I got quite slandered online, so it made me feel like a whole ton of shame that then just crippled me. And then I just basically was being a mum as well at the same time, and so at that point there I managed to release my album, but this is how much confidence I didn't have. I recorded the album in 2012 when I was pregnant with my second child, and it took me 2 years to choose a font and because I just had no confidence at all. I didn't know this at the time or why, but I was completely kind of like crushed at that point. I couldn't choose a font, and I was really like insecure about taking a photo and stuff like that. I was just like no confidence. So it's been a long sort of progress, a long journey since that point, along with other things like post-traumatic stress, blah blah blah, loads of different mental health shit that went on, to the point of kind of finding Twitch. Before I found Twitch, I was at the point of like not really enjoying live gigs anymore, and finding that really super stressful, because that was all I'd ever done since I was 14, and I knew that was a sure way of earning money. So I'd sort of started teaching and stuff like that. So I diversified into teaching and was doing a course to learn how to group facilitate. And I'm really interested in being a mentor and being a workshop leader, being a community musician. Those things really appeal to me as well as healing, being in the healing community, and finding a way of combining music and healing within my own practice. But during this time of like Twitch and the last kind of 4 or 5 years have been such a blessing in terms of like figuring out this technology, growing in confidence, learning all this, like learning I can like do this, I can actually play different instruments, which I was kind of putting myself in these boxes all the while saying to other people, don't put me in a box. I was putting myself in them without even realizing, like just like not venturing off of like guitar and vocals, like ignoring the fact that I loved playing piano when I was a kid, like just I don't know, just making myself really small. And I suppose this process at the moment is just like allowing yourself to like to grow and be bigger than you're afraid to be bigger, but do it anyway, kind of thing. And part of that is also because of some of the experiences I had in the industry make me not want to be an artist. And a lot of what I look at out there makes me think, that's not very appealing. I don't even want to do that. But at the same time, this is what we do. And so I kind of have been going through this process of like deep sort of acceptance around that and what it means. And that's why this year I'm making the effort to kind of reach out and communicate with other artists, and like just really put the artist in myself first, and really kind of try and lift up and support the other artists in my life as well. The more deeply I understand what and who I am, the more I understand who they are, and how valuable, like this year has just felt like so different, because it just feels like all around me I just think it's crazy out there, but with the artist it's like what we are doing is so beautiful and so valuable, even though we often feel like it isn't, and we have no value, and we can't find monetary thing. We can't find this, we can't find that. We can't have normal conversations with people because our work is so different and all of that stuff. And instead of noticing all of that, I'm noticing what is so beautiful about what we do. And of course it is Twitch as well is the main reason why, because it keeps locking it in. The more and more you come back to kind of stream and face yourself, face your process, be accountable, and it's been incredible. Like I've just been on this like massive healing journey. So I just at the moment, in terms of like the question was actually what would be my ideal venue, and I've been asking myself that. I've started journaling, and I've been even putting that in my book, because I was like, I wasn't even thinking in that way. I wasn't even like, where do I want to play? What do I want to do, like out there in the world? Like, and for me, like, I really want to get on the festival scene. That's the main thing that I want to do is as an artist is play the festivals, like, and have a summer full of festivals, really, and not have to play too many, restaurant gigs where I'm background music and people don't know how to enjoy music anymore. That's the story that I'm noticing, and I'm trying not to tell myself that, although I keep saying it to myself. I'm trying not to reinforce that story in my head, because I know that there are people out there that do, but from my perspective of what I've know of live music in all that time, it's very different out there at the moment, and it's changed even before the pandemic happened. It's to do with mobile phones and our attention spans and whatnot, and the fact that we're inundated with music, so we don't necessarily appreciate what live music is or how to enjoy it. And so that is not really, I'm really into magic, the magic of music, and the magic of reciprocation. What can happen when between the performer and the listener and the performer, the relationship of that, I'm so like fascinated by. And it's kind of hard to feel that and study that when you're not getting that reciprocation, when it's not happening. It's kind of just makes you feel like it's not really something that you want to do. I'm going to mute in case you sound like you might have some thoughts on that as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. I love talking shop with you. It is pretty great. Thank you for sharing that. I love so much that you're on a healing journey, and that you're taking your agency back in your production and in your creation. I think that's so great. Um, Hell yeah, reciprocity is so important. And I moved to Arizona. We moved to Arizona because it's one of the, if not the last, places in the U.S. where there's an actual gig economy. I came from Seattle, and in Seattle, it's very difficult to get paid to play music. Like, I was living there, but I was spending, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours commuting almost every gig, to go to the places around Seattle that would pay for music. And it was very rarely that I actually got a gig in Seattle that paid. And um, in so we moved to Arizona, and here, it is very standard to pay your musicians, and almost everywhere has live music because it's sunny here all the time, and everybody has what's called patio culture. So like all these restaurants have patios outside, and so like they'll have musicians come and just like play brunch or dinner or happy hour, cocktail hour, stuff like that. And I moved here and I played the resort circuit, which was my first dive into like full-time corporate music. And oh my gosh, it was so draining. It sometimes it was really rewarding because like every so often you get somebody's attention in the crowd when you're there just for background music, and like you play to that person, and it's just like it's so wonderful and cool being able to make that connection from like across a room in a place where everybody else is like distracted, or they're there for something else. They're not there to listen to music. And I've definitely played some places where the music was like an annoyance because people are there to like hang out and talk, and then they get seated right next to the speaker, and it's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about this. But yeah, I love making the connections with people. That's one of the reasons I love house concerts so much, is because there's general rules to like put the phones away, and everybody there is there in service of their friend who is hosting, and they are respectful of the space, and they're respectful of this thing that like their friend went through all this effort to set up a house concert. And so they are like open to receiving this thing that the friend wants to share with them, which is me and my live music. And I find it so wonderful to be able to take a room full of people on a journey with me. And like I'm sure that can be replicated into a larger scale, like doing a theater show. I mean, like Amanda Palmer does it, and she does it really well. Although I'm like not sure where I stand with Amanda Palmer in the moment, but like I used to be just an enormous fan, and I loved her. Gosh, what was it? I forget. It was like the tour that she was doing right before COVID. I went and saw it in the Paramount in Seattle, and it was wonderful. All 3 hours of it was great. No one really goes to a house
I
show
was
by
gonna
mistake.
say,
That's true, Mortal
it's
Wombat.
Amanda
Yes,
Palmer.
everybody's
Like
there on
I
purpose.
literally know her because
On
of
purpose.
from a point of view of an author. Like I didn't really ever listen to her music that much. The Dresden Dolls. Like I know she's, I know about her music, but I basically read her book, The Art of Asking, and was like, wow, that's amazing. And like I followed her on Patreon and Instagram and stuff. So I kind of like. I kind of like look up to her as an artist a lot and sort of follow what she does and how she is, just what she expresses and how she interacts. But that's all I really know about her. I've listened to a little bit of her music, but I've never seen her live or anything like that. And but her shows look like they'd be really theatrical and amazing and just like bearing all kind of thing. I don't know what she's done, like why you're don't know if you still like her or not. I don't know what she's done lately, but she's always so out there and so sort of outspoken about things, which is very very brave. Is it? That's all I really know. I'm gonna mute again.
Yeah. Agree. I She's done some like really impressive things, and she has a very storied career. And the pandemic and isolation brought out a lot of different things in all of us, and I felt like you can very easily weaponize vulnerability to take control of a narrative that involves more than one person. And I it's difficult. It's like it's so interesting because there's fame and there's the public sphere, and it's like what do you do when your fans are like your family and your friends? And but I just like was a little off put by how she sort of like very publicly narrated her deteriorating relationship with another famous person who was like on purpose keeping things very private. And it was just like, this is interesting. But again, like it's none of my business. So, and that's another thing too. It's like it's none of my business. Like I don't want to know about my like dream team married couple falling apart. Like it's sad enough as it is. Like I don't really want to know like all the details. Um, but it's just like I don't know. Joey wanted to know, have I always been as vocal as I am now about world issues that move me? Yes. You had your falling out with her over use of a specific slur in Guitar Hero. Oh no. Oh dear. Um, it is a tough time to be as open about beliefs as I am. And I am I started losing friends over it during COVID. Um, because I was just like really outspoken about how I felt about people not protecting each other. Especially like I was so disappointed in my industry And just like with how many musicians cut corners and did so many things to keep playing and keep touring and like do these things sort of under the table. And it just like I had a really good friend who I looked up to and admired so much. And they while I was sick in 2022 with long COVID and loudly expressing my like if you I don't know, it's so tough right now just because it's so like everybody's got to make a living. And I do sympathize with people who know that it's lucrative to make a living doing music and who don't want to jump into the job market right now doing alternative things. I empathize with that. That is really hard. That's a really difficult choice. And I remain so disappointed in the people who used to be my friends who were like in 2021. I mean, like, as soon as they were able to, they got back to doing these like enormous tours and like huge gatherings at like Red Rocks and like big stadium tours and even like smaller ticketed shows and gigs. And it's like it is so easy. It is so easy to just put out a thing on social media being like, please wear a mask at our show. Like, that's it. That's all you have to do. If you insist on creating events where people are going to gather and create risk of people becoming like ill and permanently disabled, like the least you can do is be like, please wear a mask to protect yourself and each other. And nobody does that. And nobody has ever done that. And it is so disappointing. And I like I'm still so frustrated with it. But yes, Joey, I have always been as outspoken on world beliefs, on things that I believe strongly in world issues. Uh, that's right. Yeah, we were set to see each other for the
Yeah, I
first time in
mean,
2021. We
like,
were so cautious.
sorry. Sorry, because I have to like put the phone out loud when I switch it over. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine after what like you've been through, like, what that experience has been like, and it's just been such a strange time, like the last few years, and it's been such a, even things like sort of aside from the kind of pandemic and COVID stuff, even just even what we was just beginning to talk about, what started that off talking about Amanda Palmer and the difference between her being public and open about what was going on and her, her husband being like private, and navigating that situation, and just how the sort of just how the world is now, like how like we're living in a time where we didn't used to be living in a time like that, where information was the way it is now, where we're sort of venturing into this new world, as it were, where you really can't tell a lot of the time what is bloody real or not anyway, because of AI and whatnot. And that's only going to become more and more so, to the point where I, I'm not really sure where we're heading with it all, because you won't really be able to trust much of what you see, um online. And if you end up in a world where you can't even travel and it's all closed down and everything, you won't be able to go to and see what's going on elsewhere. So we are living in a really strange time, at the moment. And I think a lot of us really feel that, like the weirdness of it. And it's really important, I think, to make sure we connect with our local communities in that way, in terms of keeping conversations open with neighbors and stuff like that, because especially to balance up our online time. I know it's slightly different to what we were talking about, but just, it's just a really strange time. I'm going to completely change the subject onto, because we were talking about Amanda Palmer. It's not completely changing, but could you tell us a little bit about like who your favorite artists are, who's inspired you the most, like which songwriters do you love? That's what I want to ask you next.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna answer Chris Farley's question because he's asked it twice, and I ignored him the first time by accident because I forgot. For me, comedy is a big thing to keep my head above the surface. What or who makes you laugh? Easy answer. My partner is hilarious, and I love him so much, and he's always able to like lift me out of whatever funk I'm in. He's so funny and so generous and warm and wonderful. But I'm also a big fan of memes make me laugh. I try I'm trying to let myself like more things and like let myself be entertained by more things because it's so much easier to be like to like gatekeep things for yourself and be like, well, this isn't up to my standard, like this isn't pretentious enough for me. But I'm like trying to let my guard down more and just like let myself be affected by the world and like let myself think that like, oh, that cloud is beautiful, or like I love the way I love the way the light plays off of the rain. um and just like I think that's part of it. Letting yourself laugh and find things funny is in that same vein. And to answer Clea's question, the things that have inspired me and favorite songwriters. Um, I'm a really big fan of this small Portland, Oregon artist. He's in Nashville now, but his name is Craig Carruthers, and he was in the Portland music scene when my dad was also in the Portland music scene. And so when my dad came and got me, and we would do like road trips from my mom's house to his house, we would play Craig Carruthers, we'd play Vertical Horizon, we'd play Sister Hazel, and we'd play Toto. And so those are like my core, my core songwriting peeps. On my mom's side, we listen to a lot of Michael W. Smith. He's a Christian artist who I believe is also a self producer. And I'm still to this day inspired by his production choices, and like amazed at how really simple storytelling can be so impactful. As a poet, I really love wordplay. I love getting like really nitty gritty in my metaphors and going like so artistic. And it's really nice for me to be able to take a step back and be like, no, like sometimes the simplest stuff is the most impactful and the most powerful. Um, Contemporary songwriters that I really love. Um, I love Muna. Um, I love that band Aurora, which is not the same as Aurora, the single blonde person. It's a group that's spelled wrong. Um, I big fan of the band Joseph and the band Penny and Sparrow. Let's see. Of course, Bon Iver. You can't beat his songwriting. His songwriting is just like incredible. Same with Hosier. Does Wonder rap? No. I used to. I used to. And I grew increasingly uncomfortable doing that because it is so not my lane. And so I do not rap. Bon Iver is just outstanding. It's true. He's ridiculous. And even now, like I used to be a Taylor Swift hater hipster, but at this point, I'm like, if you can't beat him, join him. And so I find ways to enjoy her music sometimes. Although I'm very disappointed with her carbon footprint with her private jet. So that's my little snapshot of off the top of my head. Uh, I love Lights. I love Betty Who, and those are some women, obligatory women into the mix. What about you? What are your influences?
Well, there's a lot there that I would need to go and look up. That there's definitely some artists there, songwriters that you've just mentioned that I definitely have never heard of. And I was just thinking it'd be really great if you had like a Spotify playlist, and maybe that's something we could like
Ooh.
share later, because that would be really cool to have like a playlist of the artists that you've just mentioned there, especially because some of them are, you've not mentioned like, the huge names, which is really cool. Like I really love, like, as song from a songwriting and artist perspective, I really love Ben Harper. because he's got so many different styles. He's like a real songwriter in that sense of like he can release any kind of style of music on and mixed up on an album. It's not all just like one sound, and I really appreciate that and love that. And also James Blake for production. He's one of my absolute favorite artists in that way. Like it's just and some of what you just had actually in that song I was just listening to, what was it called, Hurry Up and Wait. Some of the kind of like big sounds that you have in that remind me of that kind of production actually, and you can really like you just feel it. Oh, it's so nice. But my favorite, I feel like my tastes are like really changing all the time at the moment. I think what you were saying earlier about when you're sort of learning to produce and stuff like this, or when you had to, you know, sort of have that when you were poorly and had to have a break and listening to music, and just I can feel my ears changing, my listening changing all the time, and I'm hungry for like different music as well, like and trying to seek I'm trying to push myself to seek out like different sounds, different styles, and not really although I'm doing that on a conscious level, then what happens is on a subconscious level, and you kind of feel it come through what you're doing, but you might not really know where you picked up that, or do you know what I mean? You kind of subliminally picking up different sounds. Like I've been listening to like Latin music and stuff, just wanting to like dance around in my kitchen, and yeah, just trying to sort of reach out. Tomorrow I've got an amazing chance tomorrow to go and see an artist called Ray, who's just like blown up over here. She's a British singer-songwriter who has actually been on the scene for a long time, but has finally kind of like broken through and like really deserves it. It's a great story. But she that's at like the O2. Yeah, I'm gonna go see her tomorrow, Lindsay, which is really amazing. And I haven't I actually don't know that many of her songs, so I'm gonna sit and listen tonight and tomorrow. And so I've listened to her, but I really need to get to know some of her songs, because when you go see someone in concert, you don't want to be like the only person there that doesn't know anything. But I was really happy to be offered the ticket, because I haven't been to anything like that, like a huge kind of concert for ages and ages, like a couple of years. I've been to like one festival in the last like 4 years or something, and it will be really really amazing to go and see someone and get I'm excited for it, Lindsay. I'm looking for the inspiration and the kind of, I think that thing I was saying earlier about like not always knowing like what sort of venue do I want to play, and not being in touch with what you even really want as an artist, because I feel like that's quite that can be quite difficult. It's not immediately obvious, and I think it's really been like amazing having this conversation with you about your journey and sort of like how much your values are infused into what you do, and like how your decision making on what you want to do. Like it seems like you've got a really strong backbone in that way, and I really like, I love that, and I definitely like want to go forward like that as well. Like I want to be like just very like kind of more sure about who I am and as an artist, and what I stand for and what I want, and you know to even try and aim for those things, you know? And so, yeah, it's good to have artists that inspire you. But like, I think something that happened to me probably was some of those artists being so big, you then don't really have a reference of how do you follow in their footsteps in that way, because they're so big, and you might not even want that for yourself for a start. Like say, for example, Amy Winehouse. You know, like what she experienced was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I wouldn't want to experience what she experienced, you know, and she was like a really amazing artist. I absolutely loved her. Like, you know, we're from quite, you know, an hour's distance sort of thing. Like I knew one of the people playing in her band, and like got to sort of meet her a couple of times. And it was once before she was super famous, and then second after she'd kind of got the Beehive and was like really famous, and just kind of seeing what was happening and how she was and what the situation was like at her gigs and stuff, and how uncomfortable she looked. And I don't know, you just it's kind of weird. The industry is very weird, and it makes it sometimes it makes those steps harder to understand what you need to do, like what do you want to happen, because radio play is great, but what if radio play goes well and then you become successful and then this and that? So some of those things that are in that part of success you don't want, so you're like, oh, I don't actually want that. So how can I find another sort of avenue where I can still make a living and release music and then get to do what I love without having to worry about the potential of success, if you know what I mean? And it's weird. I know, I feel like it's weird to even like talk like that, but I've kind of like just been put off by so much of what I've seen. So I'll mute again now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is I think we live in a really cool time where artists are sort of starting to take back their definition of success, and like there's more artists making their own way. Like I saw a thing on Instagram today that was like, there's this guy who only does like chill Halloween songs. That's all he does. And his songs only get played like 1 month out of the year, but he makes like tens of thousands of dollars a year just from those streams, from that one thing that he does. And like being in a niche is a very good thing. And it's like, I definitely believe in serving the people closest to you. So like you're feeding your community essentially. um I I did social media briefly for an artist who, and she was doing my hair, so I did like a trade for her to do my hair, and then I would do her social media. And I was like, okay, so like, what do you want to do? And she was like, I want to be famous. I want to play in front of like really big crowds, and I want to play at stadiums. And I was like, okay, cool. So like, in order to start in that direction, like I need you to record a couple videos of yourself just like singing and playing your songs so that I can put them online and I can start promoting them. And then she never did. And it was like, you it's so backwards the way that we are conditioned to think about like reaching the world or even changing the world, right? Like one of the things that was so antithetical to Christian teaching to me was that like our family would fight 7 days of the week, and then we would fight getting ready for church, and we'd fight on the way to church, and then we'd pretend we were all nice and happy during church, and then we'd fight on the way back from church. And my mom was always so gracious to like strangers and friends and like people outside of our immediate sphere, but then our family was just miserable. And that's how I was raised. And I definitely, it took me a long, long, long time to like shift my priorities to like protecting my own, like my partner, my space, my boundaries, and then extending that gradually outward. Um, I think it's such an easy trap to fall into, and it definitely applies to like industry and music and like people who don't understand that like it starts, and it's like the internet has is one of the things that's like fooled us into thinking that like we can just like reach the whole world really fast, and sometimes you can, but like the way to a sustainable lasting impact is to start with the circle that is nearest you and to speak to that circle, and then gradually, by word of mouth, it's by word of mouth and by a lot of luck, it spreads. uh oh, Roscoe's here. Hi, Roscoe. Lisa Sharp do is here. Yay. Oh, awesome. But yeah, like I think there's just so many ways to be successful right now, and I am bored with people who are obsessed with fame and like The Voice and like conventional, not necessarily conventional ways of success, but just like success that is dictated by others, if that makes sense. and like success that sometimes makes you lose your agency. And it's like, no, no, no. Like aside from my privilege and aside from the great amount of luck that has crossed me, like I am very much in control of what I do to ensure my success. And like I've worked really, 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 really hard to get here. And um and I also wouldn't be here without the community that got me here. So it's definitely holding two things at the same time thing. Build it and they will come. Yes. Absolutely. Wherever you go, there you are. Good job, Joey.
I absolutely love that, and I'm sort of like approaching this year as I said, like I made the decision, right, I'm going to put the sort of artist first, and like it's been just really beautiful so far. We're only in March, but just how that decision is kind of affecting what I'm doing and how what I'm feeling like is really different, because it's kind of, even though I've always been an artist, and it's this kind of thing of like how people see you and how people, like other people wouldn't at all realize all the different layers that are going on in your head as an artist like that, where you know they just look at you and think it's like they can see what you are and you can't sometimes, is what I mean. It's because you're trying to carve out a path that you want to be on. If you're not looking at that as something that you want in terms of this, you know, like what we're conditioned to think success is, and you're that traditional kind of like it's that way, and you're going, no, actually I'm going to go this way, and I'm figuring that out for myself. And yeah, it's really cool to hear you speak about, you know, yeah, you've been doing that, you've worked really hard to get where you are, the community. Because I mean, when I like came onto Twitch, I didn't understand really too much about community or how to build it. I felt like a pressure as well of the trying to network, and the kind of awkwardness of trying to network on Twitch, and not really understanding necessarily the language, and just kind of being a newbie, and just all of that stuff, and the etiquette, and so many things. And I was really avoiding a lot of collaboration, as I've completely avoided collaboration as best as I can actually in the last few years, because I want to make sure that like what I'm building is what I want, like what that it's right and it aligns with who I am as an artist and as a person and as a human being. Like just that's become more and more sort of important, and I think that's probably to do with getting older as well, but it's also to do with having everything wiped out, you know, having your whole business, everything that I had built, I had to let go of because I couldn't afford to pay for it anymore, like websites and whatnot. Everything's kind of like feels like it's decimated, and I also ended up destroying things in that process that maybe didn't need destroying, but it felt like they did because everything else has got destroyed. I may as well just destroy that as well. So I kind of was sitting there and it's like, oh my God, everything is gone. Like, how do I be? But it's in a way, it's a blessing now, because I can be really sure about what I'm building from now, and that those things that I put my effort into and that I want, make sure those are the things that I want to grow, and that are going to be what I want to do sort of more long term. Because even with doing the streaming, you know, like people within my sort of circle, as it were, in real life, don't always kind of necessarily understand what it is that I'm doing, and that's fine. But it's also feels like you're kind of hidden away still. And even though I was hiding away, I'm not now. I'm not actually hiding away now. It's just now I'm this is what I'm doing, and I'm choosing it in a different way of like, well, this isn't hiding. This is a legitimate way of kind of earning a crust and getting work done that I will then earn money from as well. And I feel so grateful for it. I feel so grateful that we have this, you know, this avenue after having, you know, worked and done the small venue so much. Now the way that it is in England is, again, like you were saying, certain areas just don't have a live music scene, and we do have one here, but it's not what it was, and there aren't so many kind of small venues, and there aren't so many kind of, you know, like grassroots venues in that way for sort of original music. I kind of almost got a gig today which I've turned down because it was like they just can't really pay, and they want to be able to pay, and I feel that as well, but it's like that would take up a whole evening of and petrol money and whatnot. And it's like, well, we can't really, justify doing it when this is our business. Do you know what I mean? Do you need to do
Mm-hmm.
something? Is someone there? Oh, I
No,
thought.
we're good. We're
Wait,
good.
wait. Let me turn you up so I can hear you.
We're good. I think my Amazon stuff just got delivered. um, but yeah, everything you're saying, 100%. Like,
Well, that's
not hiding
exciting.
away
You've got
anymore.
something. You've got something come from Amazon. I thought maybe it was your cat doing something because my dog
No, it was my
is.
partner
And
bringing
just in
my
case
Amazon
Dragon
in.
is listening in, my dog keeps looking at me. Ember keeps looking at me like she even started talking to me at one point. Luckily I was like muted because she wants treats. I think, and she's just like. I'll mute again. Let us know what you've got. Okay, Dragon.
Oh, all right. Here we go. A little unboxing, just because it arrived while we're here. I think this is toothpicks and some makeup because I needed $25 total to get it delivered today, and I needed these toothpicks for mixing paint because I don't have a palette knife that's small enough. Oh god, this is so loud. Unboxing. Oh yeah. Look at this eyeshadow palette. It's enormous. It's huge. It was only $10. And look at these toothpicks for mixing paint. There they are. Sounds like Christmas. Oh, here's Rocket. Hey, bud. Yeah. Come here. I got an eyeshadow pencil or an eyebrow pencil and an eyeliner pen. There you go. That's what I got. My 25 it was $28 total, just so I could get these toothpicks delivered today. Come here, bud. Hang on. Y'all want to meet Rocket? Come here. Come here. Oh, he's so big and heavy. Oh. Here he is, everybody. This is Rocket of the Rocket emoji. He's not very happy with me right now, but he's such a good boy. Good boy, bud. Do you want to say something? No, he doesn't. That was Rocket. Anyway, thank you for indulging me with my little embarrassing break in the middle of a very deep talk. Please go on, Clea.
No, that's all good. I'm like checking out the eyebrow pencil. That is the one thing that I always have to have in my kit. I just had to get one that was like because of like the 90s, and I really have no eyebrows at all. And because one time my auntie, she saw me, and when I walked in the house, she just like grabbed hold of me and just plucked out most of my eyebrows because she's like from the 50s kind of glamour, and she was like, "Come here," like grabbed hold of me. And I'm like, what the hell? And if you look at pictures of me from that time when I was like 19, 20, they just went like fucking stick thin, like so thin. And now this bit never grows back. I mean, to be fair, I did shave them off a few times myself as well. But
Oh
that's the hardest thing to get is
no.
like a decent pencil. I feel like that's one thing I would
Yeah.
get tattooed is my eyebrows so that I didn't have to empty my purse again. Reveal what's in your purse. No, I've already done that one. You don't want to see what's in there today. It's just more lipsticks. More lipsticks. That's all I've got. Just a ton of lipsticks. I think we should get what we should do now because I probably need to go and have my dinner and I definitely need to go and have another wee and get another drink. Can we get you to play another song for us, Wonder? And then I think I'm going to come back and basically wrap up the conversation. I'm hoping that we can have another one maybe in a couple months' time when I've definitely got this sorted out as well because I feel like we've done really well. I'm proud. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of myself, even though this flipping technology isn't working properly. It's a little bit challenging, so it's making me feel like like that, because I have to keep like muting the thing. My brain is going funny. So I'm gonna go get a drink, and then I'm gonna turn down my thing. Would you mind playing us one more song? That'd
Of
be
course, yeah.
amazing. All right, let me turn myself down so I can hear you, and I'm gonna shoot in there, but I can still hear you.
All right. I'm gonna play another song from February album writing month, which has my favorite chord in it, which is B minor 7. Although it's not really B minor 7 because it's I put the capo on it, so it's something else. Oh, Reed, you're so awesome. This has been a great conversation. I agree. After we collab, indeed, indeed. Lindsay, thank you for modding. You're killing it today. Thank you very much. I'm gonna play you a song called "Break When I Bend," which is about. So I made a very silly mistake in February, and the mistake itself was like avoidable, and I felt really dumb for making it. And then I felt like ashamed for making this dumb mistake. And then I was like ashamed of being ashamed because I've done so much work in therapy over the last like 10 years to not feel ashamed of my mistakes. And so I wrote this as a little vent song to try and get over myself. All right, here we go. Look at all this progress. I should be proud of me. Dancing circles and pirouettes, strong and steady feet. But just one slip is all it takes to remind me why I hesitate. I am glass and glue. Can you see how fragile I am? Tip me over, watch me fall. I will make a mess throughout the hall. Pull my many pieces from the wall. How fragile I am. Oh, oh, oh. When I bend, limping, but at least I'm standing. These hands are my hands, and this heart is my own. I never could stick the landing. It's too much to ask, but at least I'm not alone. As many times as it takes, I will get back up and celebrate. I am clumsy, that'll never change, but I don't hate myself anymore. Give an inch, I'll take a mile, and I'll take the hits and break a smile. Gotta admit, I manage it with style, 'cause I don't hate myself anymore. Oh, oh, oh. How long to put me together again? Oh, oh, oh. I say the magic words and they don't make sense. And I talk about it time and time and time again. Talk about it, but it won't make a difference. Oh, oh, oh. I always seem to break when I bend. Look at all this progress. I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm learning to be flexible, though it hurts to hold a stretch. Someday I won't break when I bend. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, someday I won't break when I bend. Da, 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 da. Thank you very much.
Ooh-wee, that was gorgeous. Everyone's the chat's going wild for that one, loving that one, speaking to everyone. That was gorgeous. That one. Did you say that you wrote that one in in February?
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah. I wrote that
So
during
was this
February
one of the
album
ones
writing
that
month.
like came out super like from the sort of what were they called? Not the super fast prompt
Skirmish.
thing. Screamish. Screamish?
No, I don't think this one was from a prompt. I think this one I just was really needing to vent. And I actually had a lot of fun with this one because that one was really fun, and I challenged myself this oh my gosh, I challenged myself this February album writing month to try and write songs that were just like stylistically different from what I normally write. And I was very happy that I pulled it off because I've never written a song like that. And I've never written a song like the Fairy Market song. And I had never written a song like Johnny Burns before I did Johnny Burns. So yeah, it sounds like game show music when you scat it. Da, 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 da. Yeah. But thank you so much, friends. Oh my gosh. Thank you, chat, for being so kind and gracious.
Yeah, it's really cool that you're sort of like heading into this phase of your writing, like you said, where you've kind of done all the sort of like writing from sadness and that kind of thing to now just really having like the whole scope of your imagination to play with and all the different influences out there that you can kind of incorporate and use for inspiration. And I'm feeling a bit of that myself just with like going into this journey and just like, oh my god, it's just like an ocean of music and sound to play with, and it's so much fun. And I absolutely I think Wonder is absorbing the artist she's producing, says Joey. That's a good way to look at it. Although that sort of makes me feel like it's kind of like, I don't know why. Why am I thinking of something like a horror film when it says that? Like a sort of like gooey thing. Anyway, I don't know why I'm seeing that. It's not like that. It's been really amazing to chat with you, and guys, thanks so much for supporting the stream. We really appreciate you being here and all your like questions in the chat and just love and support. Don't forget to click the links at the top. We've got WonderTruly's links up there for Patreon. And what else has Lindsay put on there? We've got Spotify, Instagram. We've got the tip link. And of course, the Twitch stream if you're not following WonderTruly already. But I'm assuming that you already are. But make sure you go click the other places. Don't forget on Patreon, you can follow for free as well. If it's something that you don't want to immediately pay for, you can now do following on there, which is pretty cool. And of course, adding songs on Spotify always helps. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Chris. You're such an angel. Thanks so much for supporting the stream, you guys. Wanda, thank you for coming and being a guest on my glitchy tech thing. I promise you, I swear, it is not me. It is actually the technology. Although it might be me, but I don't think it is. I think it's definitely the technology in this instance because everything else is working except for the audio. So it's been a little bit like difficult to sort of like let the conversation flow in that way. But I feel like we've done really well, and like we said, we got this anyway. We got it. We did it. It is a Twitch glitch, and we've worked our way around it, which is brilliant. And it's only going to get more and more stable as it goes on. Bless it. It's still in its beta phase anyway. And let us know when I'm gonna mute again in a second. If you can let us know like when your next streams are like coming up and anything else that you want to. Obviously you've mentioned that you've got a song coming out pretty soon. If you can mention that, or if you've got the pre-save link yet. And I'm gonna unmute and then you can tell us that, say goodbye to everyone, and then what I'll do is I'll hang up the call with you and then I'll end the stream and raid out. So let me just mute a minute so you can tell us a little bit.
Perfect. I do not have pre-save links yet. The original song that that was supposed to come out in February, I still need to mix that. But Trina's song is coming out on Bandcamp Friday, April 1st, or the first Friday in April, which I don't know which date that is. But her username is Takitrina Tunes if you want to follow her. She's amazing. She's just the best. I love her so much. Her songs are wonderful. Her energy is infectious. She's a great streamer. My next stream is going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. PST, which is 10 p.m. GMT, I believe. Yeah. So that's going to be mine tomorrow. I'm trying to incorporate Monday streams back into my routine so that I have 2 streams a week, but I will not be streaming next Monday because tomorrow evening is my birthday surprise. Then it goes from tomorrow through Tuesday, and I have no idea what it is, but my partner's been planning it since January, and I'm very excited. But yeah. Oh yeah, you can watch The Veggies Under the Stairs on YouTube, which is something that's the project that I worked on in 2020. Might be 9 this week because he sprung forward. Oh, okay. Well then.
So is it your birthday coming up? So happy birthday to you. So you're going on a possibly like a weekend birthday surprise coming up. That's amazing. That's really exciting. But we can catch your stream tomorrow, like 32. I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's so amazing where you've got to at 32. Like, that's what I was trying to say about how you're using your songwriting skills at the moment, your production skills, and you're only 32. Like, that is so amazing to have kind of got to where you are with your sound and your songs. Honestly, it's really, really incredible. So that's so exciting, and I really am excited to see what happens in the next 10 years. And I hope that like I get the chance to collaborate with you. Like, I think you're amazing. I would have you as a mentor any day of the week. I just think I'm a big fan of what you do, and I know everyone else here is as well, but I'm just saying I'm definitely a better fan than all of them. I'm the best fan.
Oh, thank you. That means so much. I'm also a big fan of Clea. I love Clea. I love Clea music. I love everything about Clea. Clea is so cool. We also have things to talk about off stream, which I will DM you about. And yes, we will collab hopefully sooner than later. But thank you for having me on your show, on your stream, and sharing your stream family with me. This was so fun. Thanks everybody in chat for being here. And yeah, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Wonder. Right, I'm gonna go quickly and just hang up this, and then I'll message you after. Let me come over to the backstage bit, guys. Just bear with. Which is not this page. It's here. Bye, Wonder. I'm gonna press the button now. Bye. I'll press the button. Here we go. It's like a phone call, as it were, the way that bit works. So it's quite straightforward. Let me see what I can do here to bring it back to my main screen and check, is everything still working like that? It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty amazing that you can just like this stream together. Once it's kind of working properly, you can see it's such a cool bit of technology, and I've been waiting for them to do it. So I'm super happy that they have like kind of like integrated it into Twitch. It's so good. I absolutely loved talking with you, Wonder. That was wicked. I found out so much different things about you as an artist that I really wanted to know. Thanks, Joey. I'm glad you guys still enjoyed it, and thanks for always for like bearing with me through the different little technology things. That was well, it wasn't as challenging as it was when I first started Twitch, because I did do a few back then and they were crazy complicated. It's not complicated, but it's just glitchy, and that's a shame, but never mind. We're going to forgive it. So guys, let me just put a bit of like background music on while I take us out of here and get us onto a raid somewhere. I'm going to go have some dinner and decompress, and it seems like it's still daylight to me, but it's not daylight out there. Let me come over to Chrome actually. Let me just open up what we're gonna do. Cheers, Chris. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm gonna have hopefully 2 more conversations this month. I'm trying to sort of like keep it rolling, and you know what, I might try and roll it after that as well into I can't, my brain is breaking. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to raid. Here we go. There's a button. Let's go and raid. Let me see. Yeah, I definitely want to carry it on, even if I only do like 1 a month or something after this, but I reckon I could do 1 a week anyway, but it's just drumming up the people to talk with you as well. So even I'm going to aim for 1 a month after this month, just so we keep it going. Who can we raid? Where should we go, guys? Cheers, Lindsay. Thanks for all your awesome questions. You spurred off some really good bits of conversation there, which I loved. Gosh, my brain is going like this. I'm thinking of going to Rame, actually. She's really cool. But I'm also just trying to see if there's anyone we can help out with viewers. Of course, Phil Luna is also really cool. Is Liv live? I love Liv. I was just listening to her clip on Instagram of where is she? I can't see her. Of a song that she's producing at the moment, actually, and it sounded amazing. I sort of had got the impression that she wasn't that new to it or that confident with it. Do you mean? Wait, maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I think I might be. Yeah, I'm thinking about Liv Harris, aren't I? What is her? There, I've got her now. Yeah, let's go there. That would be nice to go there because I was literally listening to her. I love her voice so much, for a start. Secondly, her production sounded absolutely amazing, that she was doing these big string parts, and I'm just quite fascinated by her as well because she's just got this incredible voice, and she's I don't know how old she is either, but she seems like quite young to be like so talented, I suppose, is what I'm saying. So I'm quite excited to see what she does with her career and just like her production as well. She's awesome. Okay, I've got it. I've got her. We're gonna go on a raid. Make sure you've got the raid calls so we can go in and show some love and bring a vibe in, bring our little vibe in. And guys, I'm gonna see you again on a Monday now for our Monday stream. I want to talk to you about like me doing the production streams. Like, part of me feels like, oh no, it's not entertaining enough. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm definitely going to do that on Tuesday. But Monday, I'm probably just going to come in and have some fun and do some songs. And I'm going to take the weekend off because I feel like I've had quite a busy week this week, and it always freaks me out. Don't work too hard, guys. I do need to go scuba diving. But first of all, I need to eat my dinner and just watch some TV for a little while. Guys, I love you guys. Mwah. Bye, you guys.